of a dark night of the soul, or if maybe you are neck deep in a dark night of the soul, or maybe you feel like you're about to enter into the dark night of the soul. If any of that resonates with you, then I highly encourage you to continue to watch this video as I tap in and show you and tell you some different signs and symptoms of the dark night of the soul. Let's go. Okay, so the dark night of the soul, it originates from the mystical tradition in Christian mysticism, and was coined by Spanish mystic Saint John of the Cross. And so when we say the dark night of the soul, it is referring to like spiritual crisis, spiritual depression, feeling despair and emptiness, like a sense of feeling spiritually lost, right? So the first thing that I have is, first, before I tap into these 4 points, I'll just say, being in the dark night of the soul, if you feel like you're in a dark night of the soul, or in your dark night of the soul, whatever it is, first off, I want to say, it's not a one-time thing. I know from my own personal experience, I can't even count on my hands how many times I've experienced the dark night of the soul. So it's something that just really comes with the journey of spiritual growth and spiritual evolution. When you decide to take that intentional spiritual journey, and even for those that don't intentionally take it and end up on it, because we're really all on it, but it's bound to happen. It's bound to happen because things will be dismantled, things will be destroyed, constructs will be destroyed and torn down, okay? And those sorts of things tend to send you into what we call the dark night of the soul, amongst other things as well. Those are just to name a few. But the first thing that I have here is purification. The release of attachments and ego patterns hindering union with the divine. So much like I just said, like the breakdown and the dismantling of constructs, these egoic patterns that we've had going on for so long, sometimes you get to a point in your spiritual journey that you are not really given a choice. You are thrusted into having to release certain things, because certain things just can't go with you where you're going, right? All of this is we're here to remember, right? We're here because we chose to forget to be here and have this experience. We are now remembering. Now, as we remember and we step into new levels of consciousness, as we move into the 5th dimension, certain things can't go with us. So the egoic patterns and the attachments to things that no longer serve us will be stripped away, okay? And yes, you can fight it, or you can surrender. You can surrender, and we're going to talk about surrender. But releasing the attachments and the egoic patterns, those things that no longer, we need our ego, but there are things that our ego has absorbed. There are patterns that our ego has, stories that our ego tells, that absolutely are not for our betterment. Okay? So releasing that will activate a dark night of the soul, because you will be left with this desire for truth. Okay? Your soul will desire to seek truth. Number 2, turmoil, feeling intense emotional and psychological turmoil, including loneliness and existential fear. So this is another one, like, And like I said before, so many things can trigger a dark night of the soul. You can lose a loved one, a relationship could end, you could lose your job. So many different things can trigger a dark night of the soul. And having intense emotional and psychological turmoil. It's almost like a sense of feeling imbalanced within in all aspects. Your emotions are all over the place. Your thoughts are all over the place, right? Especially when you've gone through that purification, when you've had to release egoic patterns, patterns that you banked your life on, right? Patterns that you built your life upon. When you have to release that, it's going to cause turmoil. Because now you're having to find something new to anchor to. The purpose is to anchor to source, to anchor to the divine, okay? You're releasing these things because they are hindering your connection to the divine. And that's the path. The path is you come here, you forget to remember that you are source. You are your own individual expression of the divine. So we have to get rid of certain things in order to get closer and get closer to the divine, and also get closer to seeking truth through the divine. Okay? You will also sometimes feel this sense of loneliness, feeling as if, let me make sure we're still going. Feeling as if no one understands, no one gets it. Just feeling so alone. And I have been there before. I have gone through so many dark night of the soul experiences, and they can feel very, very lonely. So if you're experiencing that, know that that is normal for this particular experience, and know that it will pass. And know that you are not alone either. Source is always with you. And that's what that is the purpose of this, is to help you tap back into the remembrance of source is always with you. You are source. Number 3 is surrender. Release and surrender control and place trust in the divine. Guidance, place trust in the divine for guidance to navigate the darkness. So for those, this is beautiful because there were several experiences for myself where I was in the middle of a dark night of the soul, and I didn't even know to ask for guidance from the divine. It all just felt like I was by myself. Now, this was years ago, and as I've gotten older and grown and learned and just tapped in, more and more, and lots of things have started to unfold for me and unveil themselves. Definitely I reach out to the divine to help me navigate the darkness, because I'm aware of what's going on. But for those of you that are watching this video that's not quite sure what the fuck is actually going on, one thing you can do is surrender and release, and literally say, Spirit, divine, show me the way through this darkness. Light my path. Show me what I need to release so that I can hear you clearly, so I can become more connected and closer to the divine. Say it. Let it be a prayer. Let it be an affirmation, whatever it is that you need to call it for yourself. Know that you have that access and you have that ability. And then you trust. That's the surrender part, is you have to trust. Okay? You have to trust that you're going to be guided through the darkness. Number 4 is renewal. You will come out renewed. Despite its challenges, enduring a dark night of the soul leads to spiritual renewal, resulting in a profound shift in consciousness and a deeper connection to the divine. Right. Like, when you come out, because like it's the law of rhythm, right? It's the law of cycle, the ebb and the flow, right? No season stays forever. And the dark night of the soul, we can see that as a season. That season's going to pass, and when you come out of that, it's gonna be like you are going to hear the angels sing, okay? You are going to be a whole new person. You are going to have leveled up in your consciousness, and you're going to be way more connected to the divine in that renewal process, in that renewal step. Like, that's the whole point of the dark night of the soul, right? Is to become aware, release, purify, renew. So when you hit the renewal stage, which you will, and some of you may have experienced this already, drop down in the comments below, what your experience has been like as you've navigated different dark night of the souls, and some of maybe the protocols and things that you would do to support yourself in navigating these, because these are not easy. Like, these are not easy at all. And some are tougher than others, some are lighter than others, but there's nothing easy about being in a dark night of the soul. It's literally like a part of you dies in order so that a new part can be reborn. You have to leave something in the dark, or you integrate it in order to move forward, right? In order to become closer to the divine, to the light. So I wanted to share this because I personally went through a dark night of the soul last year. I had a lot of stuff going on in my life, a lot of stuff going on like in my immediate family, but really just like the way I was perceiving it all, and just the evolution of my soul and the growth of myself. I had to go into the dark night of the soul. And for me, that particular dark night of the soul, and for those of you that are watching this later on in a different time space, like we're in 2024 right now. I'm talking about 2023. And I remember being in this space of the dark night of the soul for months. And I knew where I was at, which not necessarily made it easier, but because I knew, I did have the ability to ask spirit for guidance, which, like I said before, in the past, I just thought it was just flat out depression, and in previous times in my life where I've, experienced this. But this time around, I knew what was going on, which didn't make it go by any faster. It still was heavy shit that I had to, release, that I have been carrying. It was a tough time. It was a tough time. And so I just say that to share, I just want to be transparent with you all, because all of what I talk about, I've experienced it to some degree. Still learning, still growing, still developing, still dedicated to doing the work. But I don't talk about anything that I have not experienced. And so I want to share that because I just want to be transparent with you all. And this is not easy to navigate. So I also want to say that, if you need support, reach out and get support. You can reach out to me. I am a coach, and I can support you. Or if you know someone else that can support you, if you, do what you need to do to make sure that you get support, but also know that you have source, you have the divine that can navigate and help you get through this, okay? So that is what I have for you. I hope this video helped you all in some way in understanding, you know, how to like pinpoint when you are in the dark night of the soul, kind of help you navigate being in it, things that you can be aware of, and also validate that this shit ain't easy, you know, like it's not easy. And so for those of you that go into it and do that work, do the releasing, do the surrendering, letting go of attachments, dismantling egoic patterns, being in that turmoil and coming out renewed, I commend you, because this type of work is not for the, you know, I commend you. I commend you. So, if you feel like you need guidance, I want to offer my services again. Please feel free to reach out to me. You can drop some stuff down in the comments. If you want to, you can also email me. My information is in the description box. And also, I do believe that the Living Soul Guidance System can also help someone who is either in or coming out of a dark night of the soul as well, because there's so much energetic understanding that can be pulled from the Living Soul Profile Report, and it can really help you navigate some of these things that you are realizing that are coming up to the surface that need addressing. Okay, so tap into that if you feel called to. That information is also down in the description box. And until the next time I see you, I just want to say thank you for vibing out with me and my energy. My name is Amber, and I am the Empress here at Empress Expressions. And until next time, I send you peace, I send you light, and I send you love. Bye.